Today I'm making a bacon cheeseburger pizza. I'm using this beautiful Chef Boyardee pizza maker kit, and I'm adding my own flair to it. So what you have right here is you have the box, and pretty much it's simple. You take and you just follow the directions on the back. So my oven has been preheated to 400 degrees. And what I actually did first was I cooked the bacon. So here's the bacon all cooked, and I cooked it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. And then I took it out of the oven and I let it cool a little bit, and I used my Ninja chopper here and I chopped it up because I like it in small pieces, but you can lay big pieces on the pizza. So you get your oven preheated at 400 degrees. Your bacon has been cooked. Leave your oven on because you will be adding the pizza later on. So now we move on to the dough. Now, here's your dough. And you take the dough and you have to add, there's 2 packets of flour inside the box. And there's a packet of Parmesan cheese. And so what you do is you add 1 cup and 1/3 of water. It needs to be warm water, and you just kind of fork stir it. And then I like a little flavor to my crust other than just plain, floured pizza crust. So what I did was I took Italian seasoning and I took the Parmesan cheese and I stirred it in. Now, you need oil on the pizza crust, and so what I did was I took the grease from the bacon. Now mind you, this is probably not healthy in any way, shape, or form, but awfully delicious. And so I took the bacon grease and I poured it on one side of the dough, and I added some Italian seasoning, and then I flipped it over and I added more of the bacon grease on the other side, and then I put it in my microwave, because you need to put your dough in a dark area so it can expand, the yeast can rise. And so I did that for about 15 minutes. So what I did was, the bacon was out, it was cooling. I made the crust and I put it in the microwave so the dough could rise for about 15-20 minutes. And while I was doing that, I got my bacon ready and I chopped the bacon up inside the Ninja. So that's where we're at right now. So we have the dough with 1 1/3 warm water, some Italian seasoning, some Parmesan cheese, and the bacon grease. Now, you don't have to do bacon grease. You can use olive oil. Like a lot of times what I actually use is grapeseed oil. Or if you want like a little sweet nutty taste, you can use coconut oil. And it doesn't have to be a lot, just a little teaspoon. And you just let it sit and let it coat the dough. And that's where we're at right now. So in a few minutes, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start assembling the pizza. Okay, what I have right here is a pan with parchment paper. Now, I love parchment paper. It's like one of my favorite tools in the kitchen because it makes cleanup very easy. So I took just your regular cookie sheet. It's actually one of those broiling pans. Usually I use a cookie sheet. I personally like square pizzas. If you just like the good old-fashioned pie, you can do it on a round pizza pie pan, but I don't know, I just like the square, the rectangle shape. And so there you go. That's a broiler pan, the bottom part, and it's covered with parchment paper. And so in just a few minutes, what we're going to do is we're just going to put the dough in the middle of the paper and the sheet, and then we're just going to I take my fingers and I just press it out to where the dough will fill up the whole entire cookie sheet. Okay, now this is the dough in the middle of the pan, and unfortunately, because I can't hold a camera and touch the dough at the same time, I'll show you before and after. So this is before, and it's just in the pan, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it out, and then I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Okay, now here's the finished crust, and I just pressed it out with my fingers, nothing major, And like the crust itself is just beautiful because it has the Italian seasonings in it and the Parmesan cheese, and so it's a very flavorful crust. And what we're going to end up doing next is going to add the sauce, and the kit comes with a sauce, which believe it or not is one of my favorite pizza sauces because it's not too sweet, it's not too bitter, it's like just the right acidity, and I just love it. So it's one of my favorites. So I'm going to add the sauce first, and then I'm going to add just a tiny bit of cheese, and then I'm going to put my ground beef on it. And the ground beef is nothing special. It's just hamburger you get from your butcher, you know, and I just take little globs of it and just put it right in the middle of all over the pizza. And no, it doesn't have to be cooked. You put it in raw and it'll cook just fine. And then I'll sprinkle the bacon and then some more cheese, and then I'll cook it in the oven. What I'll do is I'll show you each layer as I do it so you can see what it looks like. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, there we go. There's your sauce all over your pizza. And what I like to do is I kind of bring it right up on the edge, rub it over like the edge of the crust. And, you know, it's your pizza. You can do what you like. Me, personally, I just use, you know, just a nice little spatula there. And use it to stir it around. And so this is what I'm gonna do. I truly believe that you can never have too much cheese. The doctors might say different, but you know, my philosophy is cheese, and then when you're tired of the cheese, add more cheese. And so here we go. So this is what I'm gonna end up doing. This one right here is just a shredded pizza, and all it is, you see, it's mozzarella and cheddar. So I'm gonna put just a small little layer on the bottom here, okay, on top of this sauce, and then I'll end up adding the ground beef and the bacon, and then I'll end up adding the Colby and Monterey Jack, and then on top of the Colby and Monterey Jack, I'm gonna add the Italian, and I love that one because it has the mozzarella, provolone, parm, and you see there's Romano and Fontana and Asiago. And so that Italian cheese is just going to finish it off, and especially that mozzarella, it's going to like glue everything together. So it's going to be delicious. So I will show you the finished product right before I put it in the oven. But right now it's time to layer. And remember, it's your pizza. You can add what you like. I personally like mushrooms. Not everyone likes mushrooms. If I had mushrooms, I would probably, like, to me, the delicious thing would be a bacon cheeseburger mushroom pizza. Yum. You know, some people love peppers. So pretty much, it's your pizza. Add whatever veggies. You know, if you don't like bacon, use turkey bacon. You know, if you don't want pork bacon or beef bacon. Sausage, whatever you like. It's your pizza. You do it up how you want to. That's what I like about these kits, because they're simple kits and you add your own stuff and you have a delicious meal. Now I want to show you something here. This pizza kit that I bought has a special promotion to where whenever you buy the box, there's a code on it. If you put in the code whenever you get a chance on your smartphone or your computer, then a family gets a meal. So here, I'll show you right here. And it's one code, one meal, Feeding America. You know, because the crazy thing is we live in this rich world, this rich country, but we have people starving. That's ludicrous. There's no reason for that. So, you know, you can make your family a delicious meal, and you can help feed another family in the process. So, I mean, it's just a great thing. Now, I'm gonna stop this for a minute. I'm gonna add some layers to this deliciousness, and then I'll be back. Alright. Okay, so this is the ground beef and that light layered cheese. Alright. Now, as far as the ground beef, hamburger, whatever you want to call it, how much did I add? Well, it was an approximate, because what I do is at the beginning of the month, I buy one of those, I call them beef logs, and it's 5 pounds of beef, and I break it up. so I have multiple meals. So I say this is about a pound, give or take, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. And so next I'm going to add the bacon, and then I'm going to add actually 2 more layers of cheese. I'm going to add the Colby next, and then the Italian. So, alright, stay tuned. Alright, and there you go. There's the bacon on top. And just so you know, I pre-cook my bacon because I like my bacon crispy. So what'll happen is when this goes back into the oven, that bacon's going to come out really crispy. But some people like their bacon a little loose and soft. Well, then you do like you did with the ground beef. You just put on the bacon. I would suggest cutting it into little pieces, into little cubes or squares, however you want to put it, and then adding it to the pizza. But me personally, I like crispy bacon, so I pre-cook the bacon, but you don't have to. You can add that on there raw just like you do with the ground beef. Okay, there's another layer there. That is the Colby and Monterey Jack cheese. And next it's going to be the Italian cheese, which will be the nice stretchy cheese. And, you know, one thing about the cheese is you can put whatever cheese you want, but you gotta remember with certain cheeses, like if you did cheddar, it would be oily, it wouldn't stretch. Cheddar, like, to me, it's not, I don't mind it like as an accent with another cheese, but I wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't put just a cheddar cheese. I'd put a cheese that melts very well. That's why the Colby and the Monterey Jack work very well. I do have cheddar in there, but it's just a little bit, and it's mixed in with a mozzarella, and so it's not just cheddar by itself. So, I mean, you can go healthy, do like a spinach and a feta. Remember, feta's crumbly, and it's has kind of a bitter taste to it. So it's really whatever you want. Like me, I love the gooiness of cheese, and when we get the mozzarella on there, how it stretches, and so it's really what your taste buds like, what you prefer. I mean, it's your pizza, you can't really go wrong. The only thing you could do wrong is burn it. So, you know, as long as you don't burn it, you'll be fine. So you can play around with flavors. I mean, do yourself a bacon, chicken, barbecue pizza, you know, whatever you like. Alright, there you go. There's the finished product. Now it's going to go into the oven. It's going to cook. I think the back of the box actually says 425, but I'm just going to leave it at 400. And I'll be honest with you, it says 15 to 20 minutes, but you really just have to watch it and see how it browns because every oven is different. You know, like I know I have a lot of cheese and a lot of toppings on mine, so mine might take 20-25 minutes. So you just watch it, and when the crust is like a beautiful golden brown, then it's good to go. And just a little FYI, I know some people like thin crust pizzas. Well, this recipe is definitely not a thin crust pizza. The crust will actually end up being like a real fluffy, like a thick fluffy cloud is how it will come out. It'll be delicious. Me personally, I don't like thin crust. I feel, you know, if I wanted thin crust, I would just put, you know, like pizza sauce and cheese on a saltine cracker or something. So, it's all about your preference. But if you like a thin crust pizza, I don't know, this just isn't the recipe for you. I mean, I guess maybe you could roll it out thinner, but maybe add less water to the batter or the dough. I'm not really sure, but this is going to be a nice, thick, fluffy pizza. Like I said, it's going to be like eating a cloud with cheese and bacon and hamburger on it. Alright, that's it. That's the finished product. It just came out of the oven. It cooked for about 25 minutes. I'm so hungry I could dig into it right now, but you actually gotta sit, you gotta let it cool. And if you were to cut it right now, all the sauce and the cheese would just spill out all over the place. So I'd say let it sit for about 5-10 minutes and then cut into it and enjoy your pizza.